ever wanted to homestead and been overwhelmed by all the things that you had to learn and that you would need to do in order to homestead? If you have, you are not alone. I have been there and so many others. My name is Carice and welcome to Scofield Farm. And today we're going to talk about some of my homestead goals for 2025 for our little California homestead. We have 3.5 acres up right outside the second sunniest city in the US. And I'm going to share with you what our goals are for this year and why I feel like it's important when you want to homestead and have your family go that direction to make simple, thought out goals that you can achieve and how it will make homesteading more achievable and reachable for you no matter what season you're currently in. Maybe you are new to homesteading, maybe you are experiencing burnout like I have for sure after a very hard year. I have been more happy and successful the years that I wrote down some homesteading goals than the years that I just tried to plow right into it, full speed ahead, and I didn't have an exact focus of what this year was going to be about for our family homestead. By homestead, we call ourselves Scofield Farm. We're not actually a farm, but we love that we have some property. We're able to have some animals, have a large garden, have lots of fruit trees, and the vision and hope to expand as time goes on. Just because we can expand doesn't mean we should do all of it at the same time. I want to share with you the 10 homesteading goals I wrote down for this year for our California homestead. And I'm doing it on the go because that's how our life is. We fit gardening and homesteading into real life with a large family and a lot of things that come into modern life when you can't be completely off grid and away, but you still value this kind of lifestyle. Don't worry, I'm stopped at road work right now. It has been so much rain this winter in Northern California. We measure rainfall from July 1st to July 1st, and we usually get about 33 inches a year, and we're already at like 31 inches. We've had flooding. It's been crazy. I'm just thankful that I am not driving in the downpour rain right now because the amount of water that has been on streets and highways, too much, but it makes me think we're gonna have a good spring and summer, hopefully for growing food with this much rain. So as I wait for road work in real life homesteading, I want to share with you my first of 10 goals for our little homestead this year is to can tomatoes. Now I have grown our own tomatoes for 15 or 16 years. Can you believe I've actually never canned them? I know, I can't believe it either. I grew up learning how to preserve in a freezer. So this is the year, I tell you guys, I hope, this is the year I actually get canned tomatoes on the shelf so we don't have to rely so heavily on the freezer in case there's problems with electricity. I always think it's a good idea to diversify the way we preserve food because there are benefits to all different ways of food preservation. I actually have a video all about food preservation and just some of the things that we do. I'll link it in the description below. But number one, can my own tomatoes, have them on the shelf. Even though I've canned other things before, this one would be new for me. Getting here to get my son. He got a ride up to Sacramento area, and so I'm looking for his car. But if you hang on till the end, I will share with you my why for homesteading because I think it's really important to have a why to lock all of our other goals into. It helps give us kind of a vision of where we are going on our own personal journeys of homesteading. All right, I'm sorry, I'm taping for a second. There you are, you're here. Okay, my next goal for this year is probably going to be accomplished tomorrow on a Saturday before you even watch this video. So that's pretty cool, because I was talking to my husband. We have had some trees in our front of our house that we've been meaning to plant out for a while. Some Japanese maple people have gifted us, as well as my sister gifted us some willow trees that we wanted to put on the back part of our property by a seasonal creek we have. And I really want to plant them before we lose the rain, because we don't have irrigation out there. It is very hot and dry in our summers. We will go 5 solid months with no rain. So this is the time of year, fall or winter, to plant them so they can get established. And then since it is a seasonal creek, I was hoping there'd be enough groundwater down below that would keep them alive, but it's an experiment. Anyway, that is my second goal. It has been something I've wanted to do for several years, and I think this weekend we might actually finally cross that off the list, both for this year and just as a general goal that I've had. This blue sky, I have missed the sunshine and the blue sky with all the rain and flooding. He has not had coffee for like 17 days. Is it as good as you remembered? This ginger snap latte is just as good as I remember too. Alright, got the essentials for driving back home. Food and coffee. My third goal is something that has been a goal since we've owned our property for 5.5, almost 6 years. That's very strange that it's been that long. It went fast. Is to expand irrigation to more places on our property, like pockets in the yard where I can add more flowers. There are places that I've even planted, like the daffodils, the irises. I want to plant more bulbs and even like flowering bushes, but those areas of our yard only get overspray of a sprinkler to the lawn that we actually don't have. It's just weeds. If we could expand irrigation this year and I could add more flowers and pops of color all over different areas, that would feel like a major win in my book, because my homesteading and gardening is a lot to feed my family, but it's not only to feed my family. I love flowers. I have a goal of having something on our property bloom every month of the year, year round, and we live in a place that is zone 9B. That's actually possible for us. You know, not the same kind of flowers in the summer bloom in the winter, but to have something always blooming and always having color is something that I value and I desire. So number 3, expand the irrigation specifically to help flowers. All right, back on the road. Very worthwhile trip because I have my son with me. And I'm gonna have family and friends that are very surprised. We had to make a quick stop, so it gave me a second to tell you my 4th homestead goal for this year is to move my blueberries. We started with blueberries early. I thought planting berries would be perfect, pay off in several years. Where we planted them was not ideal. We have very alkaline clay soil, lots of rocks, but the alkalinity does not go well with blueberries, which love acidic soil. We have tried to feed them with like acid-loving food. We've tried to add, more acidic fertilizer kind of things, all organic, but it really hasn't had them thrive. Some of them have been in the ground, I think at this point, for 5 years. By 5 years, they should be big and thriving and producing a lot of berries for my family, and they're not. So my thoughts are, I would love to move them to some raised beds that we got from a friend when she moved. They're metal. We do need to put like some sort of hardware cloth under them because we do get a lot of tunneling gophers over in the area that I have blueberries. I have them by my pollinator garden. If I move them to a location where I can control their soil more, I think that they will grow more, possibly in a year, than they have grown in 5 years. I mean, I'm telling you guys, they're barely holding on. They're also in a place where my chickens often mess with their irrigation. So I think just putting them in a raised bed instead of in the ground, the chickens will have less way to access the irrigation. and I might have blueberries sooner. So I don't even think I need to necessarily buy more plants. I just need to relocate the ones I have. It happens. All of us who are trying to grow food sometimes have to pivot and do it different. So I think digging them up and seeing how they do, spring is probably the best time to do it, or even late winter when they're more dormant than in our brutal summer heat. So I'm hoping that this goal can be tackled very soon to give them the best shot of surviving. I know this isn't the same as most of my videos that are in my garden, on my property, but if you like videos that are real and are on the go, I hope to make more of them, because sometimes our life is very busy, it's very full. We have 7 children. One is almost 21. He'll be 21 next week. That's who I am bringing home for a surprise visit. But our youngest is 7. We have a very full life. We value homesteading and gardening, and so we do it in small pockets of time. And I believe everybody can fit growing food into their life. I have a video all about it. I will link below, but hopefully this format's okay for you too, as a different, not all the time, but that way I can get on here, share with you more, dialogue with you guys more, and not just wait till the weather is right, till I have, you know, an hour or so of time to really make a well-planned out video in the garden, working on the property. So you can let me know if this is an okay format that you are willing to have, because I would love to just be able to make things flow more and be able to be on here more often with you guys. Okay, now for our next point, our next goal. Also, would you mind hitting the like button for me? This just lets YouTube's algorithm know to show my video to other people who might enjoy it. I would really appreciate that. Number 5. I need to replace fruit trees. We did the thing that you're supposed to do. They always say like the best time to plant fruit trees was last year or 10 years ago, you know. The second best time is right now. We did prioritize planting fruit trees when we got this property. We've worked really hard. A lot of them are still young. I feel still pretty new at understanding, you know, pruning, managing, taking care of a lot of trees. I have done pretty well with citrus, and I have like a whole playlist of citrus videos. I can link that below as well. A lot of people have come to this channel because of citrus. I feel so happy that we can grow citrus in our area. But I also want to grow all kinds of fruit because my kids love fruit, and there are technically fruits that can, in our area, have something ripe year round. Some of our fruit trees have not done well. We have lost a lot of our apple trees. I think we only have the Granny Smith left, and we planted like 5 different apple trees. We had some problems. Our cherry tree died. We had 2 of our apricots get some sort of like fire blight, is my best guess from Googling. So I would love to replace some of the trees that died. I kind of feel intimidated, honestly, because I just don't know why I can't keep apple trees alive, even with irrigation to them, even with like trying to feed them with really good quality compost that we make ourselves, or really good organic fruit tree food. But I don't want to quit because we eat so many apples. And I know people, like even a friend down the street from us on our street, he has really thriving apple trees. So I know that if we can get something established, this could be really beneficial to what our family already eats. So that is my 5th goal, is to replace some of the fruit trees that died. It might be too late in our area for bare root because things bloom out and leaf out really early in our area. Our Bradford pear trees, which are kind of the stinky ones, you know, fruitless pear, they're already blooming. They've been blooming for a couple weeks. So it might be like not the bare root. I know it's cheaper to do bare root. They're supposed to be established better, but you just do what you can do in the timing that you can plant. We should not plant in summer in our area. We really should plant, you know, fall, winter, spring, unless it's citrus. And then citrus, it's best to plant in our area late spring after any risk of frost has passed. So that is number 5. I love fruit. I need to replace the ones that are not doing well or have died. Homesteading doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. To be around here with us on our channel, We're real and things die and we fail, but we keep trying. That's just a reminder in the middle of these goals. Is nowhere on my list is being perfect. We just want real life to happen and thrive and keep going. It looks like a huge river.
That's not a river?
That's the rice fields.
Oh.
That's the flooding. You know how they flood
Those are the rice fields. Flooding. Okay, so these rice fields are normally...
Look at the trees.
Look at like the current.
I think there's
Like,
trees.
This normally isn't even underwater.
Well, no, it is a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but not always.
We are so close to home. We're stopping for gas. I want to tell you number 6. Number 6, my goal is to harvest extra roosters. We like to let our hens hatch out their own eggs, which means there's always a chance of having more roosters than we can actually feasibly keep. Right now, I want to say we have 10 or 11 roosters. Ideally for us, we like to have 3 to 5.
You popped the...
Popping the gas. Okay, so 3 to 5. Honestly, I am a sucker for roosters. I think they're beautiful. I love their crows. We end up having 5. If they get along, that's great. But having to feed 10 to 11 roosters is too much. We have harvested roosters in the past. Please, yeah, that'd be great. Oh, thank you. Real life, folks. So we have harvested roosters in the past. We need to do it again. When you hatch them out yourself, if it's not like a meat chicken, it is great to wait till they're about 6 months old so they're grown out, maybe even 9 months. And I have found they still taste good. I know that not everybody is into raising their own meat. Personally, I have a hard time doing the butchering stuff myself. Thankfully, my husband is totally fine with that. I will prepare it. And I am thankful that we know that the food we raise when we do harvest roosters had a very good, wonderful, free-range, happy life. So that is one of my goals. Number 7. Number 7 is I need to refocus on beekeeping. This has been a really hard year for us. My husband had knee surgery, I had shoulder surgery, then I had some incredible back issues. So beekeeping kind of was barely maintained. I love our bees. We're going into our 3rd year of beekeeping, or maybe 4th. I guess we're finishing our 3rd year. We lost 1 hive in the fall to absconding, and we are hoping that our other hive stays alive through the winter. Honestly, I feel like we could have done a lot better. So this year, instead of adding a new animal, although I really do want to add ducks, I want to get better at maintaining what we've already committed to. And bees are something that I enjoy, I'm passionate about, even beyond the honey. Honestly, it's about the pollination. I love knowing that we have pollinators in our garden and for our fruit trees, and they are our bees. I think that's so cool. So I need to refocus my efforts. I need to do better at managing them and taking care of them and checking on them and making a good home for them. So next, I possibly want to restart my sourdough starter. We eat gluten-free at home. I have 4 kids that cannot have gluten. I was doing gluten-free sourdough, and that also kind of fell by the wayside last year. I feel like a lot of this year is refocusing from the things that we were, keeping things afloat last year and not necessarily thriving, but surviving. So I would like to redouble my efforts on sourdough, specifically gluten-free sourdough. My favorite gluten-free sourdough thing is making our own naan bread. That is like with the discard, so good. So good. I've never made a video on it, but maybe this will be the year to do that. Number 9, I need to protect my fruit trees better from critters. We had all of our apples stolen this year, and that was by deer. I'm pretty sure they also ate all the leaves. We used to have like a fencing around it from like chicken wire or something, and I don't know why it got moved. We did save our persimmons by wrapping them in tulle from Joann's Fabric, and so I really want to be better this year at preserving our fruit so that we actually get to eat our fruit. What's the point of growing fruit trees if you don't get any of the fruit, Number 10. Okay, number 10 is find more ways for our homestead to pay for itself. And I don't necessarily need my homestead to be a business per se. I would like it to sustain itself though. And so we do sell extra starts for the veggie garden. We do sell extra produce we have, but I would love to find more ways that it could sustain itself so that it actually makes eating food for our large family affordable and doing this thing of learning how to live off the land somewhat. We don't do it 100%, but make it more sustainable and more affordable. And as I promised at the very end, I would tell you my why. If you've made it this far, our why for homesteading is we want to provide healthy lifestyle and food for our family, but we also want to honor the land that God has given us and really be good stewards of this earth, this soil. And at the same time, we want to be a blessing to other people. And so I hope that this video is helpful to you, maybe to organize your thoughts, to make goals, whether you actually have property or maybe you're urban homesteading and gardening. You can do things to provide for your family, make things sustainable and reachable. And let me know in the comments below what some of your goals are. If you've thought about goals, I'd love to discuss with you. I'll talk to you in the next video.
What? What? What are you doing?
Hey, what? What? Are you kidding me? Grandma Asher came up. He got a ride to Sacramento and he
How are you doing?
wanted to surprise people.
So good to see you.
He came up to surprise everybody. So he already
How are you doing?
shocked Daniel.
Oh, hey!
What's up?
What are you doing here? Look!
What's up?
Oh my god!